Good afternoon, everyone. And I want to welcome everyone to Tuckahoe Creek Park, truly one of the gems in our county park system. This park features an ADA accessible boardwalk and scenic overlooks along the floodplain of Tuckahoe Creek. It provides a wonderful place for our residents and community to enjoy the beauty and tranquility of nature. We're honored to be here with several elected officials and other guests. So first, I'd like to recognize our Chairman of the Board, Frank Thornton, the Fairfield District, Supervisor Pat O'Bannon from the Tuckahoe District, and Supervisor Dan Schmidt from the Brooklyn District. So, you all, just a moment of pause, if you will. Pat and Frank have served our county for 28 years. And in that time period, not just projects like this, but everything from maintaining the infrastructure of the county to bringing forward some truly incredible infrastructure and economic development and taking care of our school system. It's a legacy that for 28 years, we've said it before, we stand on the shoulders of others, and this county is on the shoulders of Pat and Frank. So ladies and gentlemen, if we could recognize that service. So here today, we also have some other special guests. We have Dr. John O'Bannon, who served our state for many, many years in the Virginia House of Delegates. Doc O'Bannon. And other members of the O'Bannon family. We have their daughter, Jenny. We have Meg, who happens to be a star intern in the county manager's office this summer. And grandchildren, JD and Mike. So, guys, thank you for being here. But we also have online, I point somewhere because I'm not technologically adept, Pat's sons, Jack and Andrew, watching online as well. So you are getting, and we will have copies of all of this, I am sure, for the family. As a county, we make considerable, and I'll add appropriate investments in active recreation and sports tourism, through the development and maintenance of athletic fields and complexes. We also know that passive recreation is equally important for communities to remain vibrant and strong. That's why we developed this portion of Tuckahoe Creek Park and why we purchased the Wilton Farm property in eastern Henrico to years from now provide riverfront access to the James River. Parks like Tuckahoe Creek are vital for our health and our mental health. They're great for all ages, everyone from families with young children to dog walkers, bird watchers, especially our seniors. And gentlemen in white, off-duty firefighters are always welcome. The idea of creating a park along Tuckahoe Creek goes back decades. As a county, we started acquiring property along the creek, mostly through donations between 1980 and 1991. That's how far back this all started. And while there's some gaps along the way, the county, the taxpayers now own 240 acres of land along the creek between Broad Street and Patterson Avenue. Thanks to the vision and the leadership of our Board of Supervisors, we opened Phase 1 in 2016, which you see behind us, with 500 feet of boardwalk and neighborhood access here at Ridgefield Parkway. Then in late 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, we cut the ribbon on Phase 2 with an additional 1,000 feet of boardwalk. So we opened an additional 1,000 feet of boardwalk and trail stretching all the way to Old Coach Lane. And as you may recall, for the residents Our voters set the stage for Phase 3 by approving $5 million for Tuckahoe Creek Park as part of the 2022 bond referendum. Our Recreation and Park staff are currently meeting with the community to discuss next steps, so please attend those meetings and provide your input. It is worth repeating that a community amenity like Tuckahoe Creek Park does not happen without political leadership. Everything, and I do mean everything that we do as a county is a result of our Board of Supervisors and the service that they provide. And as such, Tuckahoe Creek Park would not exist without the incredible vision and steady leadership of Mrs. Pat O'Bannon. You know, as a county manager, I cannot express what it means to me personally. And, you know, a little bit of history, if you will. January of 1997, I came in as an entry-level employee to this county and watched Pat and Frank guide this county on so many aspects, and absolute giants in public service. And so it has been a pleasure and an honor to serve with you. And at this time, I would like to yield the microphone to Mr. Frank Thornton, who has an additional surprise for the group. Mr. Thornton.
Well, a beautiful good afternoon to everyone. And you notice I didn't have to adjust the mics. Isn't that awesome, huh? Thank you, Mr. Fatokas. Ms. O'Bannon and I do share a long, storied history on the Board of Supervisors. Pat, when you and I arrived in 1996, the board was quite different from what it is today, just like the county is. Over these past 28 years, we have worked closely together, both you and I, with our other colleagues and with our staff and residents to strengthen the Henrico communities. I believe it's entirely fitting that both she and I have chosen to retire from the board when our term ends in December. In these years, Pat and I have learned a lot about public service. I know that I've learned a lot from her. There is a definite Pat O'Bannon way of leadership and service. And what is it all about? It's about openness and transparency in everything that we do. It's about going the extra mile to encourage public participation and input in the decisions that impact the community. And of course, it's about outstanding financial stewardship and excellence in all that you do. As I look around this beautiful park, I see the work of Pat O'Bannon and her brand of public service. I see a park that was beautifully planned and executed, and excellent use of precious county resources. I see a place that is open to nature and is open for Mother Nature to even be more mature and to encourage engagement not only with wildlife but with one another. As chairman of the Henrico County Board of Supervisors, it gives me immense and great pleasure to celebrate my friend and colleague in announcing the following. The Tuckahoe Creek Park Boardwalk and Trail will now be known as O'Bannon Way. This honorary name recognizes 28 years of outstanding public service provided by Mrs. Patricia S. O'Bannon to the citizens of the Tuckahoe Magisterial District and Henrico County in general. Please join me again in thanking Pat for her O'Bannon way of governance and her tremendous contributions to our community. Okay, we got some other things we got to do, right? All right. To make O'Bannon Way an official name, we have a sign that we would like to present. I would like to ask Pat and the two Johns and other family members, if they care, to come and uncover this on our count. And I'm not going to count in French, I'm going to count in English. Okay, when the cameras are ready, I'm going to start counting from 5, okay? Not just yet, okay? Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voila.
That picture's about 15 years old, you know.
Okay. As you can see, the sign recognizes Ms. O'Bannon's years of service on the Board of Supervisors, her work as a champion for Tuckahoe Creek Park, and her commitment to open government, community engagement, and strong fiscal management. Before we ask her to make a few remarks, please join me again in thanking Patricia. And I've been calling her Patricia a little bit more here recently, okay? And for her contributions to the community. Let's clap again. Patrice, watch your microphone.
Okay. I was given a speech by the PR department, and in the car, the manager took it out and he threw it in the back seat, so I knew something was up. Thank you so much. I obviously appreciate it. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you. This idea, as you've heard, gosh, the wind is blowing so much. This idea, of course, of a park was originally set when this was platted as a subdivision. And I could just see the beautiful, the fauna, the flora, the fauna. And there are 2 paintings in the Tuckahoe Library behind the checkout desk by Dan Barches. And Dan introduced me pretty much to the idea that there's got to be something we can do with all this beautiful land. Dan is now in Ashland, so he is now working on trains, I think. But when he first talked about this, and I came out here and looked at it, I knew there had to be something that everybody could enjoy, because too many places have beautiful waterfront, beautiful lakefronts, and beautiful creeks like this, and the people who live near them can't even get at them. And that was the idea behind this, was to allow the people in this area to have this beautiful amenity so that they could go walk their dog, or they could take their grandchildren there, go fishing, and that sort of thing. And this morning I just spent hours at Lost Lake, and we've got a dam there that we're looking at, and all the water information, and now I'm looking at this and thinking, I'm glad we have this for people, because other lakes in Tuckahoe aren't accessible except to the people who back up to them and the individual property owners. This is open for the public, and that was really one of the driving factors. So thank you for this. I really appreciate it. There are all kinds of stories I could tell you about this, but I won't. But thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
So you all, and Mr. Nelson walked in as the ceremony was happening. So Mr. Nelson from the Verona District, thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you all for coming out and recognizing this potential, memento of service. Ms. Thornton, thank you for your kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. O'Bannon, we're blessed. Thank you.